The World Economic Forum estimates that nearly 70 million AI jobs will be created in the next few years. Now, as with any technology becoming mainstream, the next challenge becomes how do you hire for these specific skills? This is particularly tough when the field is nascent and also changing quite rapidly. And there's also the challenge of claiming to know more than you do, and how do you find that out if you're a recruiter? Let's close the loop on this. Joining me on Close the Loop is Anupam Srivastava. Anupam is the head of HR and TA at Reltio. Anupam, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks Srini, for inviting me here.
So Anupam, do you see this on the ground where a lot of AI jobs are getting created? And how do you react when someone says AI job? Like, what does it mean to you?
I think if I talk like how the AI has evolved in the last few years, I think that's the most required in-demand skills what every company is trying to deploy, achieve, and do a lot of things, right? Especially this ChatGPT and some of those AI tools who have created a big disruption in the whole technology world. And every company is trying to start thinking around how they can use AI and maybe generative AI and some of those stuff to enhance their tools and their services to the customers. So given that, if I look at last few years disruption, how AI has made, definitely a lot of jobs are popping up. And at some point of time, I think the companies are taking decision to go to AI without even understanding what AI can help and how AI can help better.
You're right. And there is definitely a lot of buzz. But when you deconstruct what an AI job is, like is it like someone who can use AI or someone who can build these AI systems? And what does it actually mean to build one? I mean, is it more like, and people get confused between data science, ML, AI. So how do you demystify those?
So there are different segment of it, right? If I talk about non-AI jobs as well, non-AI technology as well, there are people who are the user side, there are people who are the designing side, there are people who are in between designing and the user side who drag and drop some services here and using the tool, which is a pre-built model. Tools, right? This is not an actual development. Correct. So similarly, it same translates into the AI technology side as well.
Okay.
Right. So there are people who are using data. There are people who are using some tools. There are people who are just job is to feeding data to AI models, which have been created by the ML engineers or maybe AI experts or data scientists, right? And there are some of the areas where AIs are there, where they just drag and drop the AI services to do certain things. Right, and so it is it's a lot of difference between somebody who's actually working on AI versus using AI and partially using AI. Even in today's scenario, if we talk about, there are many applications getting integrated with AI. So integration may not be necessarily AI development or nothing to do with the data sciences side. But just because it is connected to AI and this term is being sold in the industry in a big way, it's giving good compensation to the people. So people started putting, I have worked on AI ML. That is the one part of it.
Right. So you spoke about companies, wanting to sort of add AI to their business. Like typically, how do you see that translating into the creation of roles and the creation of jobs? Like, can you walk us through how a business decision sort of translates into figuring out where you need what kind of roles, and then going into the market? How does that play out typically?
So I think most of the companies, they are having an idea of a self-service tools or environments or platform.
Right.
And that's where I think the AI is playing big role.
Okay.
That's one of the things.
Can you give me one example of a self-service tool?
Let's say basic L1 level of support to the customers, right? Or maybe any HR portal for organization, within the organization, for the employees to use. What benefit I have, how can I use.
Like what chatbots used to.
Like a kind of chatbot. That's a primary touch base and touch point for any individual to a system to get the information out of it, rather having somebody on the call like a typical call center mode. I think that's the one thing which is companies are creating the self-service model. That's the one side of it where a lot of jobs are getting created. And I think every company first looking into that model, how we can have the self-service enablement for a better experience, quicker response.
Okay, got it. That's one type.
That's the one thing. One type on the where the self-service, the first touch point is there.
Okay.
Beyond that, the lot of things people are understanding now, and they really want to do to improve the data analytics.
Okay.
Every company, if you talk about, the basic thing is whatever they're doing, it should help the customers well. And everything evolves around directly, indirectly, also the data what they have. Right?
Okay.
And that's where the data plays a critical role
Right.
in the industry. And that's where, given the data's importance for the customers, a lot of analytics coming in the picture. And it's not just to do with the business. It's in HR, in TA, anywhere you have.
Good.
Right, those data analytics part, and that's where a lot of AI is taking place to do the job.
And you spoke about the recruiters, and is there a feeling among the TA community that AI is going to come for their jobs first before any other job? Is this perception that AI is going to come for your job, is that real? Like you mentioned, like few things like L1 support. Now these are jobs, right? Now it's becoming automated. So do you see that? Like whoever I speak with on AI, they often it ends up in that safe zone where they say that, oh, it'll be eventually an enabler where a human is always going to be needed. What do you do this? You've seen so many jobs come and go, right? How do you see the impact of AI on jobs?
Okay, it's a very big statement to make whether they will take away the job. If we do not upgrade ourselves time to time,
Right.
definitely it's going to take a job.
Right.
Those days are gone when the industry you do one job for 10 years and it's still safe.
Yeah.
So things are moving very in a dynamic manner. Things are changing, evolving. Technology is making big disruption in the whole industry, not just TEHR, but other different industries too.
Correct.
Earlier, we used to look for people who know to call the candidate for recruiter. Then we evolved, okay, people should have used some job portals.
Correct.
Then we evolved, okay, people would have used some ATS. Experienced ATS, not an Excel sheet. Now we are training people with some AI-based tools.
Right.
It is about the progression. It's right. Evolve, how the industry is evolving.
Right.
But still, if you think you are a good caller and you will be called as a recruiter,
then
you won't sustain.
Got it.
It's about a typical, how do you keep learning and upgrading yourself.
Got it.
If you do that, I don't think AI is going to haunt you anymore. But if you don't do that, definitely there is a risk. You should start looking for alternates for you.
Right. That's a great point. And also, building on the same point, one is, of course, we spoke about what recruiters should do to upskill themselves. But when you are recruiting for jobs in the AI space, what are some tips that you would give to recruiters, what to look for? Because people may claim a lot of things in their resumes. People may airbrush their resumes to make it look more AI friendly. So how do you separate the true stuff from what someone is just claiming? So how should recruiters go about it?
I think you are bang on the point, Shri, when you said like people claim a lot in their resume and the content they present, right? Because in India, typically, we are used to of not looking at what company is asking for. We are more giving preference to ourselves whether we wish to apply for this company or not.
Right.
Even though if you post a job for a vice president engineering, you get engineers, software engineers, college freshers, everyone applying to that role. And that's a little funny to see that. At least have some sort of genuinity in picking up the role which is right for you.
Right.
And I will not blame them for that. Because the problem is at our end as well. Because while putting the job description, we are 50-70% what I have seen. It may be wrong for many companies too. It's again a copy-paste modern job description.
Wow.
People don't spend time in putting the right job description outside. They will start, I'm looking for 3+ years of experience. So 3+
can mean
what?
anything, right? It can mean
3 till 20, 3 to 5, 3 to 6, 3 to 8. No idea.
Right.
Given this microeconomy, you also people seeing like customizing their resumes based on the need because many people have lost a job.
Right.
And it's a sad thing.
Yeah.
Right. There are AI who can filter resumes, who can parse resumes, and who can do all those things. Right. But at the same time, there are AIs who can help you create a resume based on job description you feed in.
That's true. That's the right way to use it. Yeah.
Right. So both ways the AI is playing their role, but they're playing smartly.
Yeah.
Right. Now, who will actually find it out? As you rightly asked, what recruiter can do to find it out, how they can segregate the resumes, right?
Yeah.
And nowadays, recruiters so much of rush. They want to fresh up things pretty early. That is what I have known and what I have spoken.
That's always right. Yeah. You
right?
need it.
2 minutes call. Are you interested? You know AI. You have done how many years experience? What is your salary? What's the compensation? How soon you can join?
And first round interview session.
First round interview is done.
Yeah.
And then we call a TA screen select.
So how do you, I mean, you obviously have a recruiting team and your company works in the space of a customer data, it's a customer data platform. So how do you, and I'm also asking this maybe as a best practice to our audience watching there. So how do you get your recruiters ready? Because you're already hiring people who are in this field for your company. So how do you get them ready to ask these kinds of questions? Like how do you train them? How do you?
See, it's not just about my version of what I do. Even when I want to hire a recruiter in my team,
Yeah.
I really look for some of those competencies as well. I find missing most of the time.
Yeah.
How do I approach a leader? I think for me, it's always good to keep my team learning new things.
Right.
Any job description comes, any new role comes, it's a very important for them to have a very detailed discussions. So we have created certain formats and views like how it can be done. They have to go through some training before every JD comes to understand. I can provide trainings. I don't mind. I'm a very hands-on person even today, right? So I can talk to them. I can make them understand what it is. There are multiple trainings that we have created for different jobs we have. Like a company at Reltio who are working in more of an MDM side. It's a master data management. Unless they understand what is the master data management domain, they will not be able to find the right person.
That's true. Yeah.
So there are certain trainings are planned for them to go through that. When we got this, when we are building AI based now, AI is helping a lot in data and we are in data. So definitely we are doing a lot of things in the AI part as well. So when it comes to recruiting, how the AI ML thing works. So my first and foremost objective was to make them learn what AI ML is, what we need. AI ML is very vast. Which part we need, which part we do not need, so that they can really focus on the part and skills what we need.
Got it.
So there has to be some training. I made them sit with the panels, understand, hiring manager understand what exactly we need.
Right.
Come back, do a write-up, go back. If it delays hiring by 3 days, I'm fine. If you do not submit resume for 5 days, I'm okay. But learning is important.
Yeah, and that will save you so much of effort.
Exactly. So what happened ki just because we are in rush, we keep pumping in resumes, we are getting 15 out of 1 hires. Look at selection ratios, right? Some of the toughest skills.
Right.
Right? It becomes a problem. At the end of the day, if you look at the man hour, if you look at the workers hour, how many hours we spend? How many hours we waste? If you look at the total hiring cost, people generally calculate the hiring cost from the tool they have procured and from the platform and even they participated. For me, it's a man hour too.
Absolutely.
Right? And sorry, being more inclusive, it's a working hours too.
Yeah.
Right?
True. Absolutely.
So how do we do that? So I make sure they go through that training, they go through the learning process to understand.
Right.
They have a specific format, forms to be filled. The sessions are recorded. Listen to that session again and again.
Got it.
What manager has said. Make up your own point and you come back and tell me what is wrong in the JD and how should we put in. Make those changes, go back to hiring manager and say, is the JD looks good with our discussion we had.
Right. Perfect.
Work as a consultant.
And I suppose what you're saying is applicable, I mean, I know you're talking about AI job, but applicable to any job, not just AI.
Any job.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing specific in recruiting for AI ML.
Yeah.
Unless you want to know a bit of here and there about AI ML. So you do not need an expertise. You don't have to really go through a certification of AI ML do that.
Yeah.
Right. It's all about like how do you really play your recruiter job.
That's right.
In the right way. Nowadays, you have plenty of options for assessment and all. Why don't you choose those options and pick those options and grab this opportunity to learn new technology and tools? And you rightly said, we can't learn everything.
Yeah.
But think about a developer who was coding in C 20 years back and now is hitting an AI ML project. If she would not have developed him or herself, where she would have been landed.
Exactly.
You have to upgrade at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And you know how smart things plays in the market.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Anupam, for your views, and I'm sure that the TA community out there and even the businesses out there who are looking to hire for AI skills will find your insights very useful. Thank you for being
I'm glad if any of my statement and knowledge, whatever I have, I've shared, if that might help improve things for recruiters. Thank you so much for inviting me there.
Thank you.